got a question for you. A story came out with you that you tried to bribe Trump, but he wouldn't budge.
That's right.
And this story came out in New York Post, I believe, just a couple days ago. You talked about this a little bit earlier as well. You and I have spoken about this before. What happened when you tried to bribe Trump?
I ran unions in New York, and I was successful in everything I did. Then I turned around and I tried to reach Trump and try to bribe him to make him do some things with me. And I could have helped him with the unions, in business, all kinds of ways. He wouldn't do it. He just wouldn't do it. And it would have benefited him a lot. I gave up. And my guys told me, Sammy, let's go up his office. I said, no. Everybody around him is an ex-FBI agent. We'll be in jail before we could.
And we are going live in 3,
Sammy, I got a question for you. A story came out.
All right, Sammy, you're live. Welcome back.
Hey, guys. I'm back. We were down in Florida with Patrick Bet-David. We did his whole show, bringing in Donald Trump to become the president of the United States. And so...
That was amazing. You were all over the news. You must have had like 15 articles out there, New York Post, Daily Mail. Like, you were all over the place.
Everybody picked up on it. It was incredible. And then we got bombarded. I mean, I was actually on the stage with Michael Franchise. When we got off, I mean, I had over 200 selfies. There was people in packs who wanted to do selfies and stuff. It was a couple thousand people there.
Yeah.
Patrick Bet-David put on a tremendous presentation. He had more people watching his show than any news station. He was #1 in the country. Unbelievable. I was sitting with Anna and my son and
Madison.
Gabriel and Madison and everybody, and Anna got a text. Tell Sammy get ready. He's going on the stage. It caught me by surprise, actually. I was a little shocked. I didn't want to, I'm not going to go. So I went up on the stage and I talked, and it was incredible.
Yeah, what a night.
What a night. What a night. It was a favorable night. Like I said, people all over the place. It was just an incredible night. And then he won. I think we left about,
1:30, almost 2.
1:30. I understand Patrick and them were there till 3 in the morning. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
We got a lot of great behind-the-scenes footage, you guys, in the VIP areas. Sammy just all over the place. Like he said, just mobbed up with selfies. Like, it didn't stop. It was pandemonium around Sammy.
You know, somebody came to me, could I do a selfie? I never refused. So I said, okay. And there's people watching. I thought they were just watching. As soon as the guy walked away, another person came. Could I get one? Could I get one? Then guys, women, people, it was crazy. I mean, it was over 200 people, 200 selfies, easily. And it was crazy. I couldn't even get away. We went to a stand or something that had pizzas. I went to a pizza stand. A woman came out. She was cooking the pizza. She came out. She gave me a hug and a kiss. She wanted a selfie, and she wouldn't charge me for the pizza. It was just a crazy, crazy night. Good night. Yeah. I must have took selfies with 20 cops.
Yes.
It was a shitload, a boatload of cops there for security, and guys were grabbing me left and right. Every time I got grabbed, I said, uh-oh, here I go. But they wanted selfies. It was incredible. I never seen anything like it.
I think, the more I see Trump, the more I see a lot of similarities between you and Trump. No lie. They said Trump was up for 72 hours from 2 days before election night to election night. Yeah. You have that same energy.
I do. I don't know how I get it. It knocks me out a little bit, but I got that kind of energy, and I'm older than him. I'm his older brother. I'm a little bit older than him. But I think he's going to do a great job. I think the people are going to be happy, real happy. I'd say by May or June, you're going to see a tremendous result. And here's my reasoning, is that the first time he came in, he's a smart guy, he's a business guy, but he didn't know nothing. He was hiring people. He has a fantastic team. This time he's going in with a lot of knowledge of how it works, and with a strong team. You're going to see a lot of results right away, my opinion.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And Sterling's working on those edits, you guys, right now. They're going to be up on Sammy's Patreon. He's going to share them with his patrons, and we'll get that newsletter out as well. Sterling's been grinding away at that too. And Sammy, happy Veterans Day.
Thank you so much. I put out a veterans thing for everybody to see. I put it out on Instagram, I think it is. Mm-hmm. Right? It's on Instagram, and so you could see that on Instagram. You see it on Instagram, TikTok, share it, move it around. So Sterling did a job on that, editing it, tremendous job, and I love it. It was done well. I recorded it, and she put in some B-rolls and stuff. You're going to love it. So we're getting better and better stuff. I had some great conversations with Patrick while I was there. The night after that, we were going to come back the following day. He took us to dinner, and I had personal dinner with him and stuff like that. We talked about a lot of things. I don't want to talk about those things yet, but there's a lot of things he wants me to come down there, move down there, and so we had a couple of conversations. I was surprised at that. Mm-hmm. And we talked just the other night now for about an hour straight, and I said, Patrick, I'll get back to you in a couple of days. He says, let's make it next week, not this Monday, meaning now, next Monday. And he's going to talk to me about things. He's making me an offer to come down there and be part of him and his team and everything like that. So we'll see. It's a big move for me. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if I would do it. Yeah. I mean, I love the guy. I'm friends with him over 5 years. He was, it was great. The whole thing was great. We had fun. We ate. We had limos picking us up, taking us to the place that he put us in. Me and Madison and Anna and Gabriel, they put us in a hotel, picked us up, took us to the places. I mean, we were treated like VIPs for real. Yeah. And then we sat in the VIP section, and then I went on to put my fat face on the stage there talking.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was great. And you guys, the Patreon family event, you guys, if you are not signed up for Patreon, you are not getting the sit-downs with Karen Gravano, with Gerard Gravano, with Sammy, everybody. There was a live family event, and there's going to be another one coming up this month before Thanksgiving. It was so much fun. You guys are awesome. Yes,
these are great. And I believe the soldiers and the captains are going to see the pictures from that event. Associates will put something out for an associate, maybe one, maybe two. But the bulk of all the pictures and everything that were taken, the soldiers and the captains are going to see that firsthand. Yes. And we're working hard on the Patreon.
Lots of great stuff coming out.
Right, yeah, and a lot of things we're working on. The history of the Mafia, that's going to be on Patreon, I believe. But that will be at a captain's event. And maybe soldiers. We'll see.
I really believe that you are once again ahead of your time, ahead of the curve with these creative ideas that you have, like you had with James Carroll for the Our Thing podcast. When you said put some music to it, put some B-roll, put some inserts. No one's done that before. Why would we just do it? And it became the critically acclaimed Our Thing podcast.
I'm doing that again. I'm talking. James Carroll's is back in my camp. We stayed friends, but we went separate ways. He's back in my camp now, and he's going to do the history of the Mafia with me, including Nick Pileggi and JJ Sachs and myself. But the way we're going to do it this time, it hasn't been done. Not only are you guys going to be shocked, but I think Hollywood is going to be shocked. They're going to say, how did he do this? I can't explain it, but when you see this, you're going to be blown away.
Yeah. Pretty amazing.
Yeah. It's not just adding music and whatever. This is going to be crazy.
Yes. Let's jump into this trivia question. You guys, I know we're slacking a little bit. It's Sammy's schedule's, but we've just been insane. But let's get to the first trivia question, Sammy. It's about one of your stories when you were a kid, and you talk about going to do the money deliveries or the money deposits with your dad in the city. And he used to take
Right.
you to a famous Jewish deli. Guys, what was the name of the famous Jewish deli Sammy's dad used to take him to when he was a kid in the city?
In Manhattan.
In Manhattan. What did you used to order there, Sammy? Do you remember what you used to eat there?
Oh, pastrami sandwiches and stuff like that with the pickles. It's a Jewish deli. I would have what do you call those? The knish.
Ooh.
I mean, they had great stuff, and they were famous, and they were very well known for it not only throughout the city, but throughout the country.
Yes. Yep, your YouTubers are getting it. Your TikToks got it.
Yes, I don't know if you ever ate that, but it was great. And I was a kid. My father would take me. We'd go to the city, pick up checks. Of course, had a manufacturer, a dress manufacturer there. We had a plant in Brooklyn, and then we would go and pick up the check to get paid, and he would take me with him, and we would stop there on the way home.
Nice. Nice. All right. We got some winners, Amina?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
5. Okay, so we got Stephen Lascala, we've got Trent S., Mike Pepsi, the Patsy family, and Mets fan.
Awesome. What about TikTokers?
Tony Logan 420, Getting Fresh Barbershop 1, and Blue Eyes.
Yes. What's the name of the deli, Sammy?
Cats.
Cat's Deli,
Cat's
guys.
Deli, famous deli, Jewish deli. I mean, they had the chickens roasting on the place was incredible and jam-packed all the time. And people would come from different states to visit the city. Down Mulberry Street, it was right close to Little Italy. And there it was. I think it was on Houston Street, if I'm not mistaken.
Here we go. All right, I'm going to jump into this super chat from Mark. Dear Sammy, do you remember the last time you talked to Paul Castellano before the Spark Steakhouse?
The last time I spoke to him, I avoided him because before the hit took place, we bunked in and we were talking. If you remember, we were living in Joe Watts' house, and I just lived there. I wasn't home anymore. We were talking to people, me and Frankie Chico and Frankie Botts, and Joe Watts owned the house. And we stayed in his house, so I never went to him. That's months and months. So I haven't talked to him months before the hit.
Nice. All right, Amina's going to grab some of the super chats from the previous YouTube live. So Amina, here you go, babe.
Hey guys, hey Sammy, happy Veterans Day to you, boss man, and
Thank you.
everybody who's a veteran.
Thank you. I'm a veteran as well, and all my brothers and sisters who served. I mean, I talk to them. I go to the VA. I see a lot of them, and it's great.
So we're going to start out with just a couple of shout outs. Emily S. and her mother, Christine the Wicked Witch. Can you give her a shout out and congratulate her on her 18th year of Halloween on the GC? They're from Australia. I know.
Hey,
18.
Christine. Yeah, I've heard about this before. You dress up the whole house is like that. It became a spot where everybody goes to look at it and check it out, and you're doing a great job.
And then Beverly Terry is actually in your chat right now. She's the one whose dog Blue watches and listens to you. And she said, hey, I want to just say hey to everybody and give, and Blue gives you his love.
I love him. I love dogs. I got some special food for my dog now. I started ordering some stuff, really good stuff, and she loves it. One day I'll be talking about it. It's great, great stuff.
Okay, Jason G wants to know, Sammy, what's your favorite decade to be in the Mafia?
The decade. I guess in the 70s and 80s was really great for me. They were good, but I went away in December of '90. So the '70s and '80s were great. We started getting in trouble in the '90s, and then eventually I had to go under lamb, and then I got pinched. So the '90s I was gone basically.
Okay. Mark wanted to know, Sammy, how did you avoid wiretaps?
I didn't avoid them. I knew they were around. I was careful of the way I talked. I mean, if I was going to talk about something serious, I took a walk talk. When I was in my office or in my car or any place that I thought would be bugged, I didn't have any kind of bad conversations.
Ray wants to know, the guy who hit Gotti's son disappeared. Any info on that? And did anything happen to the person who hit your son?
Well, obviously, people know now. I don't like, discussing this particular subject, but I'm going to say that, he obviously died, disappeared, he was killed. I don't think Gotti really wanted to do it. I think his wife drove him crazy with things, and I remember him talking to me and telling me about getting rid of the guy, and I said, John, don't do it. Don't do it. It was an accident. It was a car accident. If you do this, people are going to think you're a fucking animal. Don't do it. But he did it anyway. He went on a trip to Florida with his wife, and whoever he ordered to do it did it. I wouldn't be involved in the hit. He knew I was against it, so he didn't even ask me to be on the hit. It was a mistake. And the person, my son, was in a car accident with a kid on the mini bike as well. Nothing happened to him. The guy it was an accident. I'm not going to hurt somebody. Matter of fact, the guy was really, really concerned about it, and he talked to this guy, Louis Cicenti, and I went to the guy's house and I said, listen, you have nothing to worry about. It's an accident. But, nothing ever happened to him. He might still be alive, for all I know. And, I just don't believe that that's something that should be done. It was an accident. It's actually my son's fault. He took a mini bike that we had on the farm. We closed the farm. I had it in the garage. Unbeknownst to me or my wife, he took the mini bike. He was riding around with a young little girl with him, and they crashed into a car, or vice versa. But it's not the guy's fault.
Okay, Janet in PA wants to know, being on parole while in witness protection, how does that work as far as how many people know your real identity? Were they supervising Sammy Gravano or Jimmy Moran?
They were supervisors in Jimmy Moran. You're not supposed to use the name. I gave them 1 year. I didn't want to be in the program. I had money. I didn't want to be in the program. You're not allowed to be in touch with your family, friends, anybody. But the government convinced me that they did the right thing by me, and they begged me to go into the program, so I went in. In 8 months, a woman recognized who I was, and they wanted me to start all over and move. I said no. They can't force you to stay in there. I says, I promised you a year. I'm in 8 months. I'm not starting all over. Then give me the forms. I quit. I'm signing out. And I did. I signed out, and I came to Arizona to be with my family. And as soon as I got back, I changed my name from Jimmy Moran back to Salvatore Gravano legally. They had a heart attack about it, but I didn't care. I was born with that name. They gave me that name. That's the name I was going to die with.
Okay, last one. Gas can lip. Gumbada, can you do some Italian cooking recipe videos so I can steal some kitchen ideas to put women in a gas can lip love spell?
You want to know something? Women love guys. So a tough guy when he knows how to cook and he does things like that. So it is a catch. It's a great thing for a guy to know how to cook. I don't know how to cook. My son does. And yes, he's going to do some cooking and put out recipes and do a show. And it's going to be on my Patreon. So if you're on Patreon, you're going to see him cooking. He's going to explain how to cook. I'll probably be cooking with him, especially if we can get a beautiful girl to do some baking on the show. I'm going to be on the show for sure. So we'll see how it goes. But we have plans for that. And he's going to put out recipes. And, you know, I gave him an alternative. If you don't do this, and I showed him, I showed him Gumbana over here. This is what you're going to get. So I'm sure he's going to do it.
Beverly Terry put out a hit on everyone and said, "Smash the like button, everybody, for Sammy."
Yeah. Smash the like button, and when it's on, you know, wherever it goes, to YouTube, wherever it goes, subscribe. It's, you know, we're doing some nice things. And I love rubbing it in their faces, people in Hollywood. Look at how many, you know, subscribers we have. And they love that shit. You know, to me, I didn't understand what it was when I came out and I started doing it. You know, viewers, subscribers, I didn't know what it meant. But it means things to people, the big guys in Hollywood. And so you'll be helping me out hitting the subscribe. Smash the like button if you'll, in Amina's terms.
All right, guys, we're going to move into the next trivia question, and it is in honor of Veterans Day. What year was Sammy drafted into the military? What year was Sammy drafted into the military? And you guys are playing for the Sophia Loren autographed signed print of Sammy's drawing of Sophia Loren. We will send it to you. It's going to have an authentication card with it. It's such a great collector's item.
Oh yeah, and she was gorgeous. And I come across a picture one day in a magazine. I saw it. She looked great, and I just, you know, we did this, and it's signed, and you'll get that. You'll love it. She's just drop dead gorgeous.
YouTube, great job, YouTubers. Smart cookies. Your community is very, very gangsta. How's TikTokers doing?
I've got 2.
Okay.
My TikTokers are pretty smart at this stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
TikTokers have gotten better.
Yeah.
It's Josh Marshall and Tony Logan. Always get the questions right.
Josh Marshall and Tony Logan on TikTok. Got it.
Okay, so I have Francisco Horna, Alexa 111, Joe 1849, Janet in PA, and Draven 5682.
Sammy, what year were you drafted into the military?
1964.
All right. 1964, guys.
April of 1964, I got drafted, and I got out in April of 1966.
And your mom thought you were kidding when you called her on the phone saying you're going to Fort Jackson? Where were you, South Carolina?
You know, years ago when they had the draft, you went down for a pre-draft, and they did physical exams and everything like that. But the war was raging, and they skipped all kinds of steps. So when we went down, they said, "You're not going home. You're drafted as of today."
Wow.
So a lot of guys, including me, said, "No, get the fuck." I came down for an exam. I'm not drafted. The FBI agents came out, and they said, "Whoever refuses, we'll take you in. You're going straight to jail." So I thought Army would be a little better than jail. And I called my mom. I said, "Mom, I'm not coming home. I'm drafted." She said, "Get home." I said, I gave the sergeant the phone. I said, "Talk to my mother. She don't believe me. She thinks I'm doing something else." So he got on the phone, and that next morning I was in Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Wild. I couldn't imagine.
Yeah, it was crazy. But the war was raging. I mean, and they wanted guys right away. And and they were getting them. It wasn't just me. It was like a hall full of guys. And we went around getting clothes and blankets and sheets and this and that. And then we got on the bus and we went to South Carolina. We got up there the next morning, and there was people screaming in your face. Sergeants and people. I never had that before. but I heard about it, and it was fun. It was fun. I was in tremendous shape. The training didn't bother me any. Some guys were completely out of shape and stuff, and going on a forced march, they would march with a full pack. It didn't bother me at all. I was a workout nut, so it didn't bother me any. But some guys had a rough time climbing that wall, especially some fat guys. Well, you had to help them up. They couldn't get over that wall.
Oh my God.
Yeah, get your fat ass over the wall, the sergeant screaming. Get that fat ass off the wall.
Like, damn, we might lose the war with this, with this porker.
Yeah.
Lose the war. Okay, thank you, Sammy. I'm going to jump into a super chat. Mark wants to know, Dear Sammy, the 357 Magnum is your favorite and why?
Who?
Your 357 Magnum? Your pistola?
Listen, if you have a 357 Magnum or a 38 or a 45 or whatever you could imagine, the power of a 357 Magnum is just ridiculous. You could stop an elephant with it. If you shoot somebody, you'll blow them 5 feet backwards, and you blow a hole in them like this. It explodes in your body, and it's breaking bones. It's pushing everything out. It's devastating.
Wow. All right, Mets fan, Sammy, happy Veterans Day, and thank you for your service.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
New Day in the super chat. Sammy, did you know Tommy DeSimone, and do you have any stories about him? By the way, I love the podcast and happy to see you're in good health. Blessings.
Yeah, no, I'm in pretty good health. I worked out, like I said, most of my life. And smoking's not good, but I didn't know him personally. I knew of him, and he was the guy who shot the guy, go get your shoe shine box, all that stuff in the movie. And he was a real tough guy, a little crazy. He had this complex. He was a small guy like me, and he had a short man's complex. Mm-hmm. And he didn't like being fucked with, playing with, I think I got it a little bit, but he had it a lot. Mm-hmm. And when he was abused like that in a bar, now I'm not sure if that's exaggerated a little bit because it's a movie, but I heard about it. There was a big hoopla. People saw the argument. They put 2 and 2 together, and they knew it was him. They thought it was Jimmy Burke as well, but he was protected. Paul Vario said it wasn't him, and they killed him to calm the Gambino family down. We got the guy who did it. You're right. We killed him. It's done. And that's what they had to do. That if they didn't do that, there would have been a war between the Gambino family and them. So
Thank you, Sammy.
give me a cover.
Oh yeah. We got to censor TikTok or else
Lots and lots of cowboy hats.
I see the cowboy hats going on. And was it Yellowstone?
Yeah, Yellowstone.
What a dud, by the
That
way.
movie came out again, Yellowstone.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's great. He's great. And I like the girl. What's her name? Beth, and her boyfriend, husband.
Rip.
She's great too. He just loves the shit out of her. She's so crazy, Beth. And he tolerates everything she does. But of course, he just loves her to death. Mm-hmm. And I don't blame her. I saw on Instagram, she was on there, and it said, if you want me back on, Yellowstone, say yes. And I texted back, if you're not on it, I'm never going to watch it. She's great.
They killed him off. They killed Dutton off. They killed Kevin Costner off. They had the problems with the production and all that stuff, and they killed him off in the first episode back into the new season.
Yeah. Well, they were having trouble behind the scenes with monies or something doing the film. He wanted stuff, this, that. The studios are very powerful when they buy these things. You can't bullshit or play with them too much. They don't want to take your shit. And if you ask for too much, or I don't know what his problem was, but there was a serious problem over rights and money or something, and they got rid of him. I didn't get a call.
To replace him?
Yeah, I could have replaced him, Mike.
Do you have an accent? Can
I could do that. I tell my tic-tackers, give me a cowboy hat all the time. I could do that.
Tic-tackers. That's so
Yeah,
good.
I would have liked to be in that movie. But then I would have been playing Bet's father. I don't want to play Bet's father. I want
no.
to play Bet's husband or
You should
boyfriend.
play her Yankee that came into town.
I want to play
Daddy.
Beth. I like Beth.
Sammy, oh my God, let me refocus and get back to these super chats. We mess around so much, guys. Let's see. Zeppelin Mar, do you know anything about Joe Colombo putting a contract on Johnny Carson?
No, I never heard that. I was in the Colombo Fair. I never heard that, but I don't think Joe Colombo would do that. I don't think so. He was a tough guy. He wasn't a vicious guy, and I'm sure what he would do is call Johnny Carson down and read him the riot act, and you would have to be crazy to fuck with him. So I don't think he had to put it, unless, I don't know, maybe he did something horrible towards him. I don't know. But I never heard that.
Okay. Lauren S., did you know Angelo Bruno from Philly?
No, I didn't know him. He was the boss of the family there. I didn't know him. When he was killed, I got sucked into that war. And there's a movie coming out about it, the Johnny Keys movie. I was involved in a murder in that with Johnny Keys. I can't explain too much because the people, I wind up like that guy off the show. They kill me, get me off the show. So I got to shut up a little bit.
Yeah.
But I could say that it's going to be a great scripted show. Movie, I mean, that's not the scripted show. This is a separate movie that I'm in. So I'm in a scripted show, story of my life, similar to The Sopranos, and the movie with Johnny Keys, I'm in that.
A lot going on.
Yeah, a lot going on.
Redman from rthing.tv with the great questions. Did the Gambino family members know that the famous Anthony Quinn, who used to hang out at the Ravenite, was actually Mexican?
Anthony who?
Anthony Quinn.
Quinn? Mm-hmm. He hung out at the Ravenite? Anthony Quinn. Anthony Quinn. I don't know who the hell that
Anthony
is.
Quinn, so we can...
Does he have a real name? I don't remember the name Anthony Quinn.
All right, Amina's going to jump on the old Google over here and let us know. Redman, if you are in the chat, follow up with some context, please. Let's see. I'm going to head into the third trivia question. It's a pretty good one.
All right.
All right. Guys, what Teamsters union was Sammy controlling back in the day? I'm looking for the number. What Teamsters union did Sammy control back in the day? People are saying Anthony Quinn, the actor.
I never saw him in the Ravenite. He might have went there. I never saw him. He went to John's trial. He did show up over there, Anthony Quinn, but I've never saw him or never heard of him being in the club. No, the Ravenite.
I got one.
Yeah, your YouTube's flying. All right. Well, Amina grabs those correct answers from the chat. Sammy, can you give Francisco Horna's dad a shout out? His name is Thomas.
Hey, Thomas.
He is a veteran. Francisco.
Thank
is
you
one of
for your
main-
service.
Yeah. Francisco is a loyal member of the community.
Without a doubt.
How are we doing on our answers, guys?
Actually, no. We have just 3 people that got it right.
I see a few more.
Hang on a second, because some of them are typos.
My eyes are going. I'm getting old, Sammy. My eyes are going. They're going.
Hold, please.
Dean Stevens says Anthony Quinn was in the Gotti movie.
Yeah, he was in the Gotti movie, and he was a little bit of a fan of John Gotti because he did go to the trial. So he did show up there, and he talked about John, but I never saw or heard of him being in the Ravenite.
Okay, Amin, are you ready to give the names of the winners that will enter the drawing?
Sure. We got Lauren S., Josh Ayub, Janet and PA, Addie Slam Dunk, and Mike Pepsi.
Awesome.
And before we ask that, Anthony Quinn didn't play John Gotti. He was in the John Gotti movie, and he played Neil Della Croce,
Oh, okay.
I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Sterling, what about our TikTokers?
We have Queen Chewy, K-pop 1988, Christmas 751, Scott Riley, and Chris Garland. Good job, guys.
Going in the bowl.
Do you want to say the answer?
What is the answer? What did you control?
282 to Teamsters.
Here we go.
And, yeah, and Bobby Sasso was the president of the union, and I controlled that union for quite a while. Until I went to prison.
Wow. Awesome. Thank you guys. A lot of great answers in the chat. A lot of people were close. 85, 182.
Everybody was like 182, 182. I was like, we're 100 off.
Awesome. All right. Gas can lip. Sammy, in your opinion, what is the best cannon, trench broom, or pew 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 for home defense?
Say that again?
Gas can lip, your Gumbada.
Yeah.
He's asking, what's the best pew 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 for home defense?
A gun?
Yeah.
Oh, listen, a shotgun. It doesn't have to be a 12 gauge. That's a little bit of a kick. A woman could use a 20 gauge, and you hit somebody point blank with a 20 gauge shotgun, you're going to put the guy down. It comes out in a single shell, not birdshot, slug. And a 20 gauge is plenty. It's small enough, light enough for a man or a woman to use to protect themselves, and you're going to put somebody down with it. First of all, they look at the barrel is this thick.
Oh my God.
So you're going to look down that barrel, and I don't think you're going to make that move. I don't care how big you are, how nuts you are. Even if there's 2, 3 guys, boom, she hits that first shot, they're out. They're running out. So a 20 gauge shotgun it's even better than a pistol.
Say hello to
for
my
home
little friend.
protection.
Wow. All right. Thank you, Sammy. JB Weld in the super chat. Sammy, what happened to the Bergen Huntin' Fish Club after John moved over to the Ravenite? Also, I would love to see you whack Rip Wheeler in the season finale to end the series over an old gambling debt. That's not a bad idea.
All right, the Bergen Home Fish Club stayed open. He used it on weekends, and during the week he was down Manhattan and the other club, and that's where we would meet. Weekends, I went there a couple of times. I stopped going there, and John said, "Why?" And I said, "Bro, I'm working 24 hours a day, 5, 6, 7. I don't even know who my family is anymore. I gotta take off, bro. If you need me, give me a holler and I'll come there. When important things, I would go out there, but I couldn't go out there on Saturday and Sunday and 5 days a week in Manhattan. I thought it was too much, and I needed a little time with my family and to chill a little bit. So he was still there on the weekends."
Wow. Thank you, Sammy. Gas Can Lip back in the super chat. Sammy, do you have any traveling tips for the pretend mobster De Niro after he mentioned leaving America if the election did not go his way?
Yeah, don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out, bro. You know, you play a man's man in movies. Act like one in real life. Because I don't think you are one in real life. You know, you play a great part, but you act like a bitch. I mean, screaming, crying, this and that. Go get the fuck out. Go to wherever you're gonna go. Go to fucking some country, some weird ass country where you belong.
Yeah. Okay, Lore 84. Sammy, how did Michael Francis get that gas scheme? Did he and the Colombos have to share the money with the other families?
No, and it wasn't just Michael Francis. I mean, he talks about himself and his family, but a lot of people, we had it too. There's a lot of people. Let me tell you how that came about. The story's a little distorted. It's the Russians who had it. They were super, super smart, and they invented that whole scam. Don't let nobody kill you. They had it. And what they did, they were super smart. What they did is they had the gas, the oil, the scheme. They didn't know how to get the gas stations to pump into these things. How do you make connections? They sat down, the Russians, and I was friendly with a heavyweight Russian. And they sat down with the Mafia saying, if we can convince them, they have connections everywhere. And we could get hundreds, if not thousands or tens of thousands of gas stations, and we could do the, so we'll give them a piece. How was they going to intervene with us? They went to people and they said, we're afraid we're going to, somebody's going to shake us down or do this and that. We'll be with you, and we'll give you an end. And that's what they did. And they went to everybody. Michael Franchise was one of them. He was one of the first ones. But there was guys in our family, Lucchese family. Everybody had a little connect with that. It's what gas stations you gave them. Now, I won't underestimate, Michael did a major job as a racketeer, and he put a lot of things and a lot of people together. He got a lot of stations. And but they were the guys who invented that scam. And they were very smart about it. And a lot of guys in different families. I remember there was a guy, and I'm trying to think his name. I can't think. If I think of his name, I'll say it, or I'll say it at another time. He was going out with some girl, his girlfriend. And he was talking to John Gotti, and he said, I bought her a $63,000 Mercedes-Benz. John had looked at him. I was there. He said, you bought your girlfriend a $63,000 car? We're going back a long time ago. He said, yeah. He said, John, I have so much fucking money with this gas thing that I don't even know what to do with it, where to bury it. And then John had there was a guy, Tony Pep, who was a main guy in our family. Tony Pep handed the gas and oil for us. So everybody had their little in that. Not me personally. I was a little bit of a racketeer, but I was more of a gangster. And I was in the construction field more. And Tony Pep had it for us and a few other guys. So everybody had a piece of that. And it came through the Russians. So even Michael says he dealt with the Russians. You could say you dealt with them. It came from them. They decided who they were going to give it to. And they used the bullshit, we're coming to you for protection. And I know the Russians, they don't need our protection. They're pretty tough, the Russian mob. They don't need nobody's protection. Mm-hmm. What they were looking for is our connections into getting gas stations. So everybody was looking for gas stations. Everybody knew somebody who owned the gas station. The gas trucks would come in, at night, close the station, fill up the tanks. They didn't have to order, and especially private stations and stuff like that. And it was a gold mine for everybody.
Wow, incredible. Thank you, Sammy. Janet in PA, one of your favorite gangsters, wants to know, why were the Indians in jail or in prison? What did they do usually? What were their crimes?
They did a lot of different crimes. They've done, murders. They did robberies. They did drugs, a lot of drugs, and they were in prison. They wound up in federal prisons, and I think there are some maybe in state prisons, but there was a lot of them in federal prison, and they do crimes just like anybody else, everybody else. They weren't as organized. Even like Indians from different tribes, they didn't even get along that well. So they really weren't all that organized. So, and they had the same type of crimes, but not too much murder, but some of them were killers.
Artie Wells in the super chat. Hey, Sammy, I love your stories and the way you tell them. Much love from Houston.
Thank you so much.
Lore 84. Sammy, would Cosa Nostra have been better with just Sicilians? Napolitan, how do you say Napolitans? Like Capone, Scarfo, Gotti, and etc. were too Neapolitans. Thank you. Were too flashy and brought too much attention.
Well, some of them were and some of them weren't. I mean, you're right. John was a Neapolitan and Capone. The Sicilians are much more. They started the whole thing, and when they grew up, they all thought the same. They were quiet. It was a secret society, a brotherhood. They were more secretive. When it went out, even in Italy, it went out to all of these other parts of Italy. They weren't Sicilians. A lot of them lived by the code as well, but a lot of them, like those two are a perfect example, Capone and John. And they paid the piper and they hurt everybody in the process for it. So,
Nice. Okay, you guys go ahead and send in some more questions. I got one from Dave in Pittsburgh in the regular chat. Sammy, what was the plan B for Paul if you didn't decide on Sparks?
There was no plan B. I mean, we waited almost 8 months, and we were trying different plans, different things. He was on trial, so it was really difficult. I mean, he got picked up. He went straight to the, courts, and he was there all day. He went home. He was probably tired. He went straight to his house. It was really, there was no major plan. So we waited a long, long time, almost 8 months from start to finish. And it came up that he, because of Christmas, he wanted a meeting with captains and people in Spark Steakhouse. And that's when that plan went into effect. I had heard Sparks, wow, what time is he meeting? And Frankie DeChico was invited to that meeting. And Frankie came, he was part of the plot. And he said he's going to meet us at 5:30 in Spark Steakhouse. And I had said, well, that's when we're going to do it. And I remember, plain as day, John said, are you crazy, bro? There's tens of thousands of people in the street. There's cops on every corner. It's almost Christmas. I said, that's perfect. It's going to play right into us. We know exactly where he's going. We know the exact time. And you can't park. He's going to pull right in front of the place where there's valet parking. He gets out, he gives them the car, and he goes inside. That's what he's going to do. So we know where he's going to park. We know what time and exactly where it is. So, Frankie, you go inside with all the guys. You sit and wait and, keep control of that. And we put together a team. We planned the whole thing, and we pulled it off without a flaw.
Incredible.
And it wound up being, it's literally the biggest hit ever. You hear about Al Capone with the St. Valentine's Day Massacre now. It was a beautiful plan, but it was so easy. It was inside some warehouse that all the guys were. Some guys dressed as cops. They came in as cops, telling guys, get against the wall, police. They got against the wall. They thought it was cops, and they shot them all. So, but it wasn't in no comparison close to the Sparks hit. And right now, even years and years later, even law enforcement, everybody, news media will tell you that it's the most famous hit ever.
Thank you, Sammy. Marshall G with a very generous envelope for you, Sam. Just a few bucks to help pay the boss's fine. Tell the feds to stick it where the sun don't shine.
My fine is pretty big. I wish I could tell them that. But thank you so much for helping out or trying to help out. But and I appreciate that.
Philly Bob, Sammy, who did you trust more than anyone else in the life?
I trusted my crew. I trusted Frankie DeChico. I trusted Tato. I trusted a lot of mafioso guys who were really tight-mouthed and trustworthy and stuff. It's not like everybody was a bad guy. They were trustworthy. Tato, I think, was probably the most trustworthy guy I would pick. His son, Charlie Boy, was the same thing. I grew up with him, way before I was even with them, before I was even made. So, I had relationships with guys who were very trustworthy. My Gumbada Alley Boy, Sammy, the old man Peruta, and on and on and on. I could keep going. They were trustworthy guys.
Which, by the way, what a small world. On the plane going to Florida, you ran into somebody who knew Ellie Boy with the bird and the neighbor. I was like, what?
We're sitting on the plane, me and Anna, and a guy puts he's got a big face, he sticks his face in, he says, Sammy, he says, you remember me? I didn't remember him, age with him, me, I didn't remember him. And he says, I was close with your Gumbada Alley Boy, and this and that and the other thing. And I remember a little bit, but, so I waited. He wanted me to sign his ticket, right? Mm-hmm. And then I said, you know what I'll do? When we get off the plane, I'll wait, because he was behind me. I'll wait, and I'll do a selfie with you if you want. And he said, yeah, I would love that. And I did a selfie with him. Good guy. And then when we went for the luggage, he was there for his luggage. His whole family was there. His wife, his daughters, his granddaughter, kids. It was nice. And I met his whole family. And this is happening more and more to me, which is, in a way I like it. In a way, it's a little awkward sometimes, but I like it. I don't, some guys, they don't want to give an autograph. I think that's like you think who the fuck you are.
Right.
Somebody's waiting, they want to give me an autograph, a selfie, I give it to them.
Yeah.
They like you, you're a fan. What are you going to tell them? No? Some people do, but I don't do that.
No, not at all. I think Patrick called you America's Gangster.
Yeah, he did. We went to that meeting, he called me America's Gangster. And I like that title. I'm a gangster of the people.
Yes.
I even told the pastor when I got baptized, I says, I was a warrior for the Mafia, I'll be a warrior now for God. Mm-hmm. And he loved it. He gave me a hug, remember? He gave me a hug. He says, certainly. He says, you're going to help a lot of people for what you're doing. So.
And you touch a lot of people with your stories. There's a super chat from Adi. Hi, Sammy. I love your stories. It's like I'm there with you. Maybe some stories about Richard Kuklinski or the Iceman, and greetings from the UK.
Yeah, I love it, my friend. Listen, the Iceman story is a big story. It's going to be in my scripted show, for sure. They want, they're asking me all kinds of information, and they know a lot of information. One thing about my scripted show, I want to say this. They're talking to people that I haven't seen for 40, 50 years and talking to them. What'd you think of him? You grew up with him. At first I said, well, why are you doing that? But it's a good thing. That's a good thing. If you don't like me, you could say it. If you like me, whatever happened, good. And then they go in, the state organized crime, the FBI, the DEA. They're talking to everybody. So my scripted show is going to be pretty solid. There'll probably always be a little Hollywood in it, but I think it's going to be a lot of truth. They love the story.
Thank you. J. Marie is in the chat. Please tell the boss hi and tell him I'm sorry for being late.
No, don't worry, J. Marie.
Mark wants to know, is it true that informants told the FBI John Gotti goes upstairs to the club? Did you find out who told?
We never know. Yes. We never found out, even after I cooperated. I said, who the fuck said that? And they said, Sammy, we don't disclose things like that. Sometimes they disclose certain things, and sometimes they don't. But whoever that was, but they, it was easy because he stopped talking in the club, and he went in the back, and the backyard, and they realized what he was doing. Then he went to the back on the side near the staircase going upstairs, and they figured it out. They bugged the hallway, and then they heard footsteps going up, so that he was going upstairs, and they knew. Then somebody, an informant or somebody there, told him that he's going in that apartment. And they kind of figured it out anyway, because there was a maid guy who had the apartment. He died. His wife had it. The guy Norman, the coffee boy, it was his aunt. They put 2 and 2 together, plus they did have an informant. But we never found out, I never found out, even after I cooperated, who he was. I asked, but I just couldn't find out.
C-Fed is asking for, can I get a shout out, boss? My case got dismissed today and my felony expunged. God is good.
God bless, bro. Especially before the holidays and everything. God bless you and your family.
All right, we'll do one more super chat and then we have to wrap today, guys. We got a lot going on today. So I'm going to get to this last super chat, and it is from El Gato. Why did Vito Genovese and Don Carlo Gambino move against Mr. Costello?
Well, Vito Genovese moved against Costello, for sure. I'm not sure if Carlo Gambino was involved in that. He might have gave him a wink and a nod. But it was Vito Genovese. And the guy he gave the contract to kill him was Chin Gigante. And Chin shot him in the head, but it hit the head and went sideways and came out instead of going straight back. The bullet could move when it hits bone and stuff. And he survived and quit the mob and walked away, and Vito Genovese took over. I'm not sure that if Carlo Gambino was in it, but they were, heavyweights. It could be. I'm not sure. I never heard it that way, but maybe he did. But they took him out because he had connections with politicians and things like that. There's things he didn't want to do. He was a money guy. He was a little greedy. Vito had the hots for him. And it was really boiled down to Vito Genovese, who made the move. Chin was the actual shooter. And he just left. He didn't cooperate, he didn't say nothing, but he left. He left the mob. And Vito took over.
Nice. Thank you, Sammy. Extraordinary how you do that.
Yeah. Well,
I have one personal question for you. Do you think Joe Biden pulled a Chin Gigante with this acting like he has dementia? And then came back and was like, hey guys, we got to do this transition peacefully. Like, he was a whole new guy.
I know. No, I don't think he was acting. I think that Joe Biden is retarded. I really think he is. He's fucking, I'm not supposed to use the word retarded because I don't know what to say, but if he's, it's an expression. I don't mean it in any down way towards retarded people, but he was dumb as wood. He was used. He was abused. So let me not use that word. Let me think of another word. It was a fucking asshole. Through and through. So it was, we challenged there. Challenged by ass. He's a fucking asshole. I mean, and I shouldn't use that word because there's a lot of retarded people that have problems. But he wasn't that. He was an asshole.
Your chat is cracking up. Chat is cracking up. All right, guys, head to Patreon, sign up, come to the family event, get the newsletter. Sammy.
Yes.
Let's wrap today.
Let's wrap. All right, so guys, I became a born-again Christian, so I'm not supposed to say adios, motherfuckers, but I will say peace and love.